in the singing of our national anthem with a sensational Chloe Maggs.
Australians all let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with gold and soil and wealth for toil. Our home is far by sea, our
finals round. Do you want to win a high sense?
4KUL.
EDTV. Who wants a high sense TV? Yeah. Alrighty, you got to put your t-shirts on. We're going to scan the crowd shortly, looking for someone with one of those t-shirts on, and we're going to give away a free high sense 4K Adaleide TV.
All right.
There's a lot to be excited about this year.
We've got a team returning after 8 seasons out, and they're fully loaded.
Andrew Gaze is back, but my how things have changed.
And his squad looked like a genuine contender.
The international talent is as good as we've seen.
And we welcome home some of our biggest names.
There's a team from the West that'll be pushing for back-to-back.
Perth Wildcats, NBL champions.
But 7 others with different ideas.
So get excited.
Because the NBL is back.
Better than ever.
Better than ever.
Better than ever. Let's play ball.
Hello and welcome to the first home game of the NBL season for Melbourne United and the second game of the season for both Melbourne United and the Adelaide 36ers. Both teams coming off game 1 losses. So both teams keen to make amends. Fantastic to have your company wherever you're watching around the land. Welcome to a full Hisense Arena, but you wouldn't expect anything else on a Sunday afternoon. But Melbourne United to host a full house, and hopefully they're hoping for a victory here this afternoon. I've got the great Tommy Greer, two-time NBL champion, former captain of the Melbourne Tigers with you. Tommy, welcome. It's a fantastic atmosphere again here.
How good is it? You said it. This is Melbourne's home opener, and they're packed to the gills in here. Almost as stacked as these two rosters between Adelaide and Melbourne United.
And it's been an interesting round so far. Plenty of upsets. The Brisbane Bullets back into the competition for the first game in 8 seasons in the wilderness, and a good win over the reigning champions Perth Wildcats. Melbourne United going down to New Zealand. The Hawks smashed Adelaide in their season opener. Sydney Kings surprise losers to the Brisbane Bullets, and the Perth Wildcats in overtime against Cairns last night. That was a thriller, and we're hoping this one's going to be pretty close as well. Let's have a look at the starting fives for both teams. Chris Golding coming off not necessarily his best game 1, but he's back home and he loves the rings here.
He really does, and he thrives in this sort of energy. When the stadium is packed, he really feeds off that energy. They're going with a similar lineup to Friday night. Cedric Jackson will run the point. Of course, that man, Chris Golding. Toddy Blanchfield will show up the wing looking for a bounce-back game, and then you've got the big man, David Anderson, who Melbourne United have brought back from his years overseas. And, of course, big Majuk will shore things up in the middle.
And the Adelaide 36ers are very reliant on Jerome Randall having another season this year like he did last year. In fact, hoping he has a better season.
Absolutely. I mean, you said it. Very reliant on Jerome Randall because he's got to push the pace. This is a young team. They need to play up-tempo basketball. Brendan Tees will more than likely get the job on Chris Golding. Looking for a better performance out of Daniel Johnson than his effort on Friday night. Mitch Creek, early contender for most improved player. That's my call. I'm looking for a big game out of Eric Jacobson, the big man in the middle.
So we're about to get it on here. Hisense Arena's first game for the 2016-2017 season. A full house, some big celebs here as well. Leighton Hewitt amongst them. Let's get it on straight after the break. The atmosphere is always spectacular here. In fact, as far as Australian sport, they probably do it better than any other sport does it in Australia, the pre-game. And I've seen plenty of pre-games, don't worry, just coming off an outstanding AFL season. But there's something special about the way the NBL does it here at Hisense.
Absolutely. It's the proximity to the court. Everyone just feels like the crowd is right on top of the action. There's not a bad seat in the house. And it's just so exciting. The NBL's back. The entertainment value is just lifted across the league. You see the fireworks before the game. The on-court entertainment is just second to none.
Dean Demopoulos back for a second year. It's a relatively new look to the team that he's got, but last year he was the new look and he had 7 new players last year. So it's probably a more familiar scene for Dean Demopoulos this year than last.
Absolutely. They have retooled a little bit. I mean, anytime you bring in the point guard, which is Cedric Jackson over from the New Zealand Breakers, and of course, big man David Anderson returning from his years in Europe. I mean, they're two pretty key additions for this United squad. Yeah,
so changes, if you're unaware. No Hakeem Warwick, Stephen Holt, Daniel Kickett, and for the 36, there's a couple of changes there as well. Adam Gibson's departed, Lucas Walker, Anthony Petrie, among others, but they've added a couple as well, and we are expecting a big afternoon. Majuk Deng had a pretty good game 1. He was probably the best of them, 13 points and 6 rebounds. Terence Ferguson, the young 18-year-old's got a lot of pressure on him, hasn't he?
Yeah, he absolutely does. This is a really, really young Adelaide 36ers squad. They're giving up on average, about 4 years to the next youngest team in the competition, so they're going to look to run.
So the tip-off, the first home game of the season, and we're underway at Hisense Arena. Mitch Creek coming off a great game 1, even though they were smashed. Johnson puts up an early bomb, and it was lucky it hit the rim. Here's Jackson down the floor, quick transition, and straight away, a statement being made. Todd Blanchfield was on the same page as Jackson there.
And you can already see the pace in this game. We've already had 3 possessions in, 30 seconds of ball time.
Early foul, little push, little nudge. Referees will make a statement. There is Dave Anderson. For those unaware, 4-time Olympian for Australia. He's been, well, some say, our best player of the last 20 years, if you count what he's been able to put together both for Australia and around the world. There's barely a country he hasn't played in.
Absolutely. Just having a few words with the ref on that one. You can arm bar, you can't have that open palm on the back of the offensive player's back.
Randall puts up the floater, gets it to roll, and they need plenty of that from their superstar from last year. Jerome handles Randall.
And that's good signs for Adelaide. I even liked Daniel Johnson's first shot attempt. A little quiet against Illawarra, so he'll be looking for a better performance tonight.
Yeah, he was quiet, that's for certain. He had 4 points only against Illawarra. Daniel Johnson Anderson puts an early one up. Didn't know if he wanted to go off the glass or swish it. He goes off the glass this time. And the big man also making a statement earlier, coming off a 9-point game in his game one, and he would like to score a few more than that normally. Randall. Little bump on Mitch Creek. He's the captain for the 36ers.
Great little matchup here between Mitch Creek and Toddy Blanchfield, 2 young guns of the league.
Oh, it was delightful as well. Just took it all the way to the hole. Jackson with Randall in his face. Cedric Jackson from the New Zealand Breakers last season. For those unaware, to Golding. Hands it off, and the spin move to Matchuk, and jams it.
And Chris Golding loved it. A little dance on the way back down the floor. Very impressed with Majuk's throwdown.
Yeah, 7 points in game one. Majuk against New Zealand. That one put in by Johnson. So some high scoring early in this, and we've seen some low scoring games, even though they've been exciting games early in the comp.
This has a feel. This is going to be a scoring fest. It doesn't look like the teams are very locked in on the defensive end at the moment.
Anderson for an early 2 as well, and he's finding the net. Randall. Anderson only to take on. Didn't get him in the air. Creek hands it off, and the miss.
And look, that was an okay look by Eric Jacobson. He saw the mismatch down low, tried a little high-low action.
Started the season brilliantly last year too, Majuk. First 4 or 5 games really set the standard for him for the rest of the year. Jackson backs it on Randall, and the fadeaway was magnificent to watch.
And I love that in Cedric Jackson's game. He's not a prolific 3-point shooter, but he makes it work. He gets into the body of those smaller guards and just takes advantage of them in the low block.
And Jerome Randall, a long 2. Golding. He might take it himself, flicks it out. Blanchfield passed it up. Back to Golding. That would have brought the crowd into it. Randall got a couple in his face. And
so good at using his body, isn't he? On that fast break like that, getting into the body of the defender, just create enough space to get it up off the glass.
And he is only tiny. I know he presumably looks tiny on your screens at home, but he is tiny. Oh, it's Golding, got him out of his shoes. He shook him off his feet and then put the 3-bomb in.
And that's what Hisense has been waiting for. A little Chris Golding action to get this crowd started.
Creek. Majuk called for the foul on Jacobson. One of the new faces for the 36ers. People will get a little more used to. Here it is, Golding.
Look at that, just stopped on a dime. Sent tees flying towards the baseline.
Still 36ers ball. Johnson. Well, that was how they drew it up until it didn't drop. Jackson. Great sounds from the court. Everyone barking instructions. Flicks it out. Well, he's pretty hot early.
And look, that was interesting. They sent the double towards Cedric Jackson on that post-up with Randall. That's what created the open look.
Johnson puts in a 3, and that'll help him as well as his team.
I love to see that. DJ really is a prolific scorer. He can put points on the board in a hurry, and he's going to be a real key factor for Adelaide this year. I believe Randall, Creek, and Johnson are going to have to really carry the load if they're going to come away with many wins this year.
And Johnson's already got more points now tonight as Golding puts up another 3. He's got more points tonight than he had for the entire game, game 1. So Johnson, good start, and Adelaide, good start as well. Tees gets one back at the other end.
Cedric just taking a little bit of pace out of the game at the moment.
Anderson having a big impact early, the big man. That's what they bought him for.
And look, that's got to be addressed. He's had a couple of open looks off pick and pop situations now. Adelaide really need to get a hand on him.
Jacobson with a hook, didn't drop. Again, Jackson to set it up. Anderson, Golding. Anderson. Not that time. Creek with the rebound. Nearly lost it. Flicks it out. Randall. Well, there's none of 3 from three-point territory game 1. He drops that one. I think it was just a 2.
And that's his game. That little mid-range pull-up. That's where Jerome Randall eats. That'll get him going.
I'll check whether he had the foot on the line shortly, but it looks okay. Randall starting to find it. They're not finding it as much in game 1. Blanchfield that time sees it rim out. And a hustle from Madjook causes the foul.
Just such great vision by Cedric Jackson. Looked like a standard chest pass, but to get that across the top of the key amidst all those defenders to the open Toddy Blanchfield truly is he puts on masterclass point guard sessions every game.
Madjook having a sit down. Tees. 15 apiece. Got Golding in the air, drew the foul, and will go to the line. Just what he was after.
Real smart play there by Brendan Tees. He's such a solid player. That's why Joey Wright loves him. You can trust him. Knows he's always going to make the right decision. Real heads-up veteran move there. Just getting Chris Golding to bite on that little head fake. Earns himself a trip to the charity stripe.
Yeah, played juniors for the Brisbane Bullets under Joey Wright. Townsville, Gold Coast Blaze under Joey Wright.
So he knows Joey pretty well.
Yeah, and Joey knows him. That's the beauty of it. And then Tees coming off a 3-point game, game 1. Early lead for the 36ers. After Melbourne did start hot. Golding bringing it down the court, not Jackson this time. And Jackson thought about it, had Sobey in his face. Rips it out of the paint, Blanchfield inside, Williams, and it's a 36ers ball. So an early turnover again from Melbourne.
And a little bit of a fake press there. I saw Ty Wesley. I thought they might be trying to take the ball out of Nathan Sobey's hands, force Brendan Tees to bring it up the floor.
And a big bomb as well. Lucky to hit the rim. Devin Williams, you can see with the glasses as you're new to the NBL this season. Distinctive glasses at that. And the little turn move by Ty Wesley. Had a pretty good game 1 against his old team.
Fantastic effort, actually, over in New Zealand. Knocking down, I think it was the 4 triples. He was one of the highlight players for Melbourne United. And we just saw there Devin Williams. This is what he brings to the Melbourne United squad. They really struggled on the glass last year. One of the all-time worst offensive rebounding teams when the regular season finished last year. So Devin Williams, he's been brought in to shore that up, get on the glass, and that's what he did right then.
So still Melbourne United ball. They're just checking the clock.
14.
Shot clock down to 14, not 24.
Offensive board, back to you.
You can just feel the crowd just waiting for a little bit of a spark, can't you?
And there is not a spare seat in this house. It's fantastic. Jackson. Golding has some space, flicks it out. Well, it said he was hot against his old team, not that time. Ty Wesley and almost Williams the rebounder. Johnson rips it down. Sobey to Creek. Matt Hodgson getting some court time. Little spin and hook.
Oh, soft touch from the big fella. Love seeing that out of Matty Hodgson.
19-15, biggest lead of the game for the 36ers. Golding. Shot clock down to 6, puts it up. 3.
And look, what do you do about that? Chris Golding just pulling up, defender in his face, shaking his head as he runs back down the floor. He's feeling it tonight, Dwayne.
Mitch Creek pulls the foul. We go to the line for 2. And the crowd, so many 43 singlets been sold by Melbourne United the last 2 years. It's the most popular number.
Look at this, just eyes him off. You're not close enough, mate. Whap! Got that one.
Yeah, if you don't know his history, he's been back in Australia after playing in Spain. Had a pretty good season last year. He's got a 50-point game to his name, by the way.
That's not
here
bad.
at Hisense. You've got to take that. That's in the 40-minute game era as well, by the way. Born in Tassie, moved to Brisbane, played a little summer league for the Dallas Mavs and Cleveland, and the scouts have been looking at him still in the NBA.
Melbourne United's fan favourite, Kyle Adnam. Blondie, as they call him down at MU, subbed into the game.
I like the way he walks over and stands next to Jerome Randall so he feels tall. Because he is fairly tiny. Kyle Adnam, but he's taller than Jerome Randall. Well, they are side by side behind Mitch Creek. Second one ripped out, but that works.
Great effort on
Hodgson.
the glass by Matty Hodgson.
Jerome Randall, he took on Williams. He had the jets to burn him off easily.
The speed of that man, so tough to cover. You get anywhere near his feet and he's going to blow right past you. Help side defense of Melbourne United needs to be aware of that.
Ramon Moore getting some court time. Tomlinson, or into the foot, so that's still a Melbourne United ball. Caught the foot of Nathan Sobey. Devin Williams had no hope.
Young Anthony Drimmick, son of Frank Drimmick, the former NBL championship winner, subbing into the game. Of course, coming over to the league after spending 4 years at Boise State over in the States.
Kyle Adnam trying to get 3 back on Randall. Rebound again for Hodgson, who's had good impact since coming off the bench. Sobey. Hodgson. Sobey. Little shake and bake move.
Look.
And air ball almost. Pulled back though. Nice bit of work by Drimmick, the man you were speaking of, Tommy Greer. And for 2, Jerome Randall. And again, Hodgson pulls down the rebound. Guy Wesley right in his grill.
And look, tough little passage of play by the 36ers there. Matty Hodgson might have got clipped, I reckon, on the arm on that last hook shot attempt. Let's have a look. Really unlucky not to come away with a couple of free throws on that one.
Dean Demopoulos and Joey Wright already letting a few people know what's going right, what's not going right.
And this
from
is
Joey Wright.
This is an interesting battle. These are 2 of the best coaches in the league at working those referees.
What, you're saying they can be worked?
No, I'm not saying they can or can't, but I'm saying they're trying.
Ramon Moore pulls up in the paint. That rims out. And Wesley puts it back. Rims out. Adnam! Kyle Adnam! They love him here. Got some hang time there to put that back in. Didn't play any minutes against New Zealand, Kyle Adnam, as that fadeaway is amazing from Drimmick.
And look, that's one of the advantages of having such a young roster, isn't it? They just throw caution to the wind. Little fadeaway from Drimmick, such a tough make.
Kyle Adnam under the bucket. Just seconds remaining. Puts up a big bomb, Tomlinson. And again, Hodgson rips the rebound down. Massive impact since coming on. You see the differential, shot clock, game clock. 27 left, and that's for 3. Never a chance. Wesley pulls it down, and they can have the last shot of the quarter, Melbourne United, but they will trail at quarter time, which is not what the doctor ordered for them in this first home game of the year. runs the clock down. Who takes the shot?
I'm looking at Ty Wesley, a little pick and pop. He shot the ball well. There he is.
You're spot on. Takes it into the
Got the
paint.
look.
Backs it in. 2 seconds left. Off the glass. Hodgson again. And they'd be pretty happy with that, the 36ers. They're coming off a 34-point spanking in game 1 at the hands of Illawarra, and they lead here at quarter time by 4.
You're on.
Here.
Oh, I know, I am. Give me 20 on.
Here. Here.
There you
All right.
go.
You're just
Side
coming down like this.
situation, flex hand.
dribble hand off to this shit here. Get corner. Roll over. All right. Pop out. All right, Ramon, you got.
Quarter time, Hisense Arena. Fantastic to have your company wherever you're watching around Australia, whether it be on Fox Sports or around the world in China this year. Great to have your company if you're watching internationally. First home game of the season for Melbourne United against the Adelaide 36ers. Both teams coming off losses in their first games for the season, so this is game 2 for both, and a good start for Adelaide, Tommy Greer.
Absolutely. The game's being dictated by them. It's a high-paced, lot of energy in this game early.
Early one put up by Ramon Moore. That'll get him.
And look, he had a solid performance in New Zealand as well. Didn't fill up the stat sheet, but just such a composed player.
Early from Randall as well down the other end. We expected a high scorer. We're probably going to get a higher scorer than we even expected. Tomlinson steps it back out. It might take 100 to win this one. Tomlinson showed no respect.
I like that from Nate. He has to shoot that one. If they go that far under, you've got to take it.
Tease. Draws the foul from Tomlinson.
Jerome Randall up to the 10 points already, shooting it well over 50%.
Well, he had 13 points for the whole game, game 1. So up to 10 already now. As I said, none of 3 from three-point land in the game 1 spanking at the hands of Illawarra. 122 to 88 was the final score in that game 1. That surprised a lot of people, probably. Illawarra and Adelaide surprised more than anybody.
And best believe Joey Wright would have let him know about it as well in the couple of days in between these performances.
And a foul off the ball. This time it's an offensive foul. So it's Melbourne United ball.
The referees have been all over the offensive fouls during this first round of basketball. Saw a lot of them in the Sydney-Brisbane matchup last night.
They've enjoyed calling some flops as well early.
Yeah, they have. They're trying to eradicate it.
Ramon Moore. Oh, he tried the quick pass to Anderson. Flicked it out. Johnson having a good afternoon at the office. Quick transition. Drimmick. Foot on the line. Out of play.
Eric Jacobson hasn't had much of an impact on this game so far, but just look at the way he runs that lane down the middle. He's first guy down the floor every time, setting the pace for these 36ers.
So a few of the new faces for the 36ers. Eric Jacobson in the number 11 singlet with the ballish head, shaved cut and the beard. See him in the paint there. Anderson, turnover again. And the flick out, and here he is on cue for us, just to let us know who he is, Eric Jacobson. From Arizona State, was almost overlooked by the college basketball scouts at Arizona State until his grandmother sent them a letter. Nice to have his grandma's support. Wesley for three. Adnam nearly ripped it down. Drimmick. Johnson. Randall. Jacobson backs his way in. And again, a foul off the ball, this time called on Ramon Moore.
Really liking what I'm seeing out of the 36ers. They're not just forcing it down the floor like they were on Friday night against Illawarra and forcing themselves to take these fast break baskets. If nothing's on in transition, they're slowing it down. They got it inside that time to Jacobson. Lot more composed 36ers outfit than what we saw the other night.
Drimmick. Randall. Adnam obviously got a job. He threw him away.
Step.
He just threw him away. Golding. Takes it to the hoop. No.
Good
Flicks it out. Anderson for three. Now the rebound, and again, Adelaide winning off the glass. Tease. Took it himself. Wanted to pass it initially. Johnson, little Adnam in his face. The little guy. Moore, the give. Wesley, the bucket.
Great transition basketball there by Ramon Moore, just making the defender bite before handing it off.
Johnson from way beyond.
Okay. And he can do that. A lot of the bigs in the league can step out and shoot that three now. We're looking at two here tonight, David Anderson and Daniel Johnson, of course.
Golding. Under the bucket, Anderson. Back out, Adnam.
Oh, great head fake.
He got him in the air, couldn't put the two in. Foul under the basket. And again, it's a Melbourne United ball.
And you can see Melbourne United moving the ball so well. They had David Anderson wide open underneath there. Ball just didn't get there quick enough. I wonder if that's just a matter of a little bit of chemistry that's going to start clicking as the year moves on.
Well, Kyle Adnam out of the game. Played good minutes there. No minutes against New Zealand. So this is his first game of the season. And he played some awesome defence and put a couple of baskets in.
Spoke to Dean Demopoulos about his preseason. He's been so impressed with Kyle Adnam and Nate Tomlinson coming off the bench.
Ramon Moore took off the young gun. Ferguson's been a huge story in the league. We'll talk more about Terence Ferguson, the 18-year-old who's now on the court for the 36ers. So they protected him early, had a very lean game one. Jerome Randall with a shake and bake and the two.
Oh man, that little onside crossover by Jerome Randall had Anderson falling downstairs backwards.
Golding. They've matched everything Melbourne United has been able to do and more.
Great tag.
Golding almost got the foul, didn't get the basket or the foul. Randall. Ramon Moore in his face. Johnson has put a couple in. Oh, play it again, DJ.
36ers are feeling good.
What about that? And they lead by 12 at the timeout.
Just a great little penetration there by Jerome Randall, finding the open DJ. David Anderson needs to stay a little bit closer to Daniel Johnson. Great shooter. Even though he had a poor performance in that game Friday night, stepping up here today.
And I mentioned Terence Ferguson, the 18-year-old who's chosen to come here to Australia and play professionally rather than go and play in college in his home country in the US. Joey Wright spoke about that move before this game.
We'll have NBA looking at our league extensively now because of Terence Ferguson. So it's great for that, but just simply, he's a great ball player. Shooter first, likes to get the three ball up, but he's a tenacious defender. Really gets after it defensively, wants to guard the best player on the other team, and just a really solid, good guy off the court as well.
So a big move to come here to try and get into the NBA rather than to play US college and trying to get into the NBA.
Well, we're seeing Jordan McRae, who's looking like getting a few minutes with the Cleveland Cavaliers last year, obviously was with United. James Ennis out of Perth. Casey Prather is right there on the fringe looking for potential NBA spots. So really is becoming a breeding ground for players to come out here, develop their skills, work on those poorer areas of their game before going back and signing those big contracts.
Terrence Ferguson did say that he wants to support his mum and his brother and sister by coming here and actually playing as a professional, earn some money. He's had a pretty tough upbringing, raised by a single mum. Adam Treloar amongst the crowd, by the way, Collingwood star. He's got Pendlebury here as well. Great to see some of the superstars of the AFL. Yeah, Terrence Ferguson raised in such a bad neighbourhood as a kid. He actually didn't go to school. His mum said, you can't go to that school, it's too rough. You're actually staying home, I'll homeschool you. You know it's pretty tough, your neighbourhood, when the school's too rough to go to.
There's some unbelievable stories in the NBL this season. Another one for Adelaide 36ers is Majok Deng. We'll talk about him a little bit later.
Absolutely. And here is the man on cue, Terrence Ferguson with the ball in his hand. Foul off the ball.
And interesting to see, just on that last possession, Adelaide's gone into a bit of a full-court press. This is something, speaking with the Melbourne United coaches before this game, they've prepped for. They know the 36ers are going to get right up the floor, play 94 feet of defense at times during this game.
Let's sort this out. I'll have a sit down just on Terrence Ferguson. I think he's managed by American hip-hop artist Lil Wayne as well.
Yep.
That's a fair management group to be with.
Matt, I bet you there's some perks that come with that one.
Oh, yeah, the Young Money stable, I think Lil Wayne calls it. So it's a fair management group that he's with back there in the US. I know you're tied up with the music industry as well. Chris Golding, interestingly enough, was a little disappointed with last year's finish from Melbourne United. Here he is talking to us earlier on last year's disappointment.
You know, leading into that final series, we put ourselves in a position to win the minor premiership, to rest guys at the end, to make sure that we were in tip-top shape to go in and play whoever that may be in that first round. It just so happened to be the New Zealand Breakers right when they were starting to hit their straps. So, I mean, as much as that is very, very hard to accept, it's a testament to the league that you can have a team that looked like they weren't going to make the playoffs, but within the span of 2 weeks are knocking off the best team in the league.
And I like that from Chris Golding. You know, he hasn't lost any faith in this Melbourne United squad. He knows how tough that New Zealand team are, and no one who knows the NBL or has been around the NBL for any amount of time knows that when it comes crunch time, those New Zealand Breakers are going to be ready. And it really was a tough matchup for MU in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, strangely enough, they won the pre-season comp and then won their first 9 games last season. Melbourne United didn't make the grand final series as Sobey puts up that shot.
Melbourne United came out in a little 2-3 zone, maybe a match-up zone there by MU, just to mix things up.
Need to start getting some points on the board and bridging this gap. 5:44 left. Golding for 3. Gee, it was fouled, he thought, as well, by Hodgson, and it did look that way from here.
And they're into it as well.
Creek. Ferguson. Sobey. Sobey for 3. Jackson. Hassel from behind. Might take it to the hole himself. Does. Gets the foul.
And just a heads-up play there by Cedric Jackson. Realising the defender's feet were too close. Took it tough to the rack. Little injury concern here. Coach Demopoulos, Chris Golding coming over to make sure their point guard is okay. Little hesitation move there by Cedric Jackson, putting Nathan Sobey out of position.
So from New Zealand Breakers last year, but really from New Jersey and Cleveland State. We'll have a little sit down. New to United this season, Cedric Jackson. One of their big pickups over the off-season, and he does look shaken up.
Looks like Nate Tomlinson's going to sub in, take over the point guard duties while Cedric Jackson sorts himself out on the sidelines.
Dean Demopoulos actually walked on court. So I think they were forced into that sub under the NBL rules.
Sorry, mate.
You walk on court to check the welfare of one of your players, you have to take him out.
2 shots.
Tomlinson.
Now, it looks like the 36ers are going to jump in a little bit of press here. We've got Mitch Creek right down the other end of the floor. He's going to play like a bit of a rover in this press and try and pick off the down-the-floor pass that Melbourne United throw. The first time you see him throw it down the floor, Mitch Creek's coming hard.
All right, we'll keep an eye out for that.
It's going to come on the next possession.
Okay, Hodgson takes it to the bucket. One at the end, one goes through the foul, and he's had a huge impact, as we mentioned. He took on Devin Williams there. Go to the line. Matt Hodgson. No points. Game 1 against New Zealand, Matt Hodgson. None of 4.
And you can breathe a sigh of relief. Cedric Jackson is back on the floor. Looks to be okay.
There's Devin Williams having a sit down, originally from Cincinnati, but went to college at West Virginia. Went undrafted, played some summer league with the Milwaukee Bucks. Didn't get a roster, so here he is in Australia. Devin Williams. But all eyes on Matt Hodgson. Been solid.
Here's that press.
Okay, so here it is. Everyone manned up on, in essence. Ramon Moore. Terence Ferguson in his place. Young 18-year-old. Ramon Moore kicks it out. Jackson. Moore. Try to get Ferguson in the air. Jackson, shot clock down to 5. Rims out. Not a lot of luck for United so far.
Great defensive set there by Adelaide. Melbourne couldn't get through anything.
And Randall puts the Jets on with a floater, and that won't count, will it? Hit the rim, and he got his hand on the rim before it dropped.
Would have thought potentially offensive goaltending. Refs to let that one slide.
Little lenient there. Ty Wesley.
He's tough cover in the block.
He's got the 2 on him. Oh, and 1.
So good at just using his body during that post work. Gets in the body. I think it was Matty Hodgson there. Earned himself a little bit of room. Put up the soft little touch hook shot.
Here's the goaltending we thought, Tommy Greer.
Look, I don't think you're allowed to grab the rim.
No, well.
Come on. I don't think there's any question he did either.
Yeah. Maybe there wasn't enough protest from the Melbourne United players.
Yeah.
Dean Demopoulos is...
We were sooking enough.
I know, he's not normally short of a protest, Dean Demopoulos. Ferguson.
Oh, great hands.
Here we go. Here's one for the highlight reel. Jackson.
Oh, my goodness.
Terence Ferguson got there, but a little goaltend there at least.
I'll tell you what, Cedric Jackson gets the points, but how about the bunny hops on Terence Ferguson?
Yeah, once that's off the glass. Johnson.
And DJ's feeling good. Feeling good from 3-point range.
Ramon Moore, Blanchfield, she was a hot pass to Blanchfield. Wesley, plenty of space. Johnson, another rebound. They've demolished United off the glass, and that is a charge.
And that's great defensive footwork by Ty Wesley. Had to pick a direction, pick the inside on Mitch Creek, gave him nowhere to go. Love the tempo that Mitch Creek is playing with this season, though. Had the 24 points against Illawarra. Really led the way, although they got comprehensively beaten.
Yeah.
He was very impressive.
I suppose as captain, you have to make a statement as a captain.
Yep.
And he at least did that. Ty Wesley's had an impact since getting some court time. Backs his way in, double team, gets through the gap and drops in the 2.
They sent a double at him. He just slipped right through the middle. Another baby hook.
And another foul off the ball. And look at this one being called.
Milner.
Absolutely. So Smith Milner getting some court time like Kyle Adam. Didn't get on court against New Zealand game 1. Didn't get much court time last season either.
And look, you're seeing it throughout the league, though. Just about every team in the league is going 10 deep these guys, you know, we all talk about the David Andersons and the Alex Marich and Brad Miller coming back, but there's some talent at the end of these benches that we're starting to see.
Yeah. And they probably would have done a lot of research on Smith-Milner as more puts in. Here they come, United. Starting to get a feel for it now. Jerome Randall. And it was in the third that the Adelaide 36ers were demolished against Illawarra. They were good in the first half, but their comeback is the shake and bake from Randall is superb again. Jackson. But it was the third quarter where the 36ers got spanked in their opening game. Wesley. Smith-Milner back to him. Again, double team. Smith-Milner left free for the three. Well, you've got to put it up if they leave you alone. Randall. And again, off the ball.
No basket, 14. Hold.
So a foul on Smith-Milner. Smith-Milner, I should say. And it'll be a 36ers ball.
And look, just between Creek and Randall, they're dictating the pace of this game. Creek's ability to grab it off the glass, push the tempo, kick it up the lanes as a three-man, so impressive.
Adelaide 36ers haven't had a good time of it here in Melbourne in recent seasons. Won just 2 of their past 9 games here in Melbourne.
And how about Daniel Johnson, up to the 15 points already after his slow start against Illawarra.
Yeah, 4 points against Illawarra.
He's smashing that.
It's a different player. Wesley for 3. Never a chance. And Johnson on cue for you. Tommy Greer rips down another rebound. Inside 2 minutes to half-time. Melbourne have some thinking to do. They don't want to start the season 0-2. Again, Randall. Got the foul on the way in. No basket. Won't count. Got 2 shots coming, though, Jerome Randall. Had an outstanding first season with the 36ers last year, Jerome Randall. Randall. Here's the handle he likes to go with. The Randall Maul was in vogue in Adelaide for a while when he demolished teams game after game. He's putting on a show again here today. 17 points so far in the first half, and you can just about put him down for 18 because he rarely misses a free throw. All net. Trouble here for Melbourne United. And they were one of the favourites, if not the favourite for the championship before game 1. Tomlinson. Again, little pushing off the ball.
Come in.
Melbourne United losing their first game by 5 to New Zealand in New Zealand, 76-71. Joey Wright will be pretty happy with the first half here from Adelaide 36ers after going down by 34 to Illawarra in Illawarra. Second game of the season, as I said, for the 36ers. So they start with 2 away games, 2 road games in a row. At least United's got an away and a home game for their first 2. The crowd's been silenced by the 36ers in this first half here. They're normally a vocal crowd. The captain, Mitch Creek, seems to slip through his grasp. Jackson. Can they finish this half strongly, United? Jackson tried to shake off Randall. He's right with him. Couldn't get him shaken. And from the outside, Ramon Moore. Randall. Creek. Tease. Randall. Gets the screen. Kicks it out. This is big. And it drops. Eric Jacobson. We've mentioned a few times. Trying to step it up. Kicked out to Moore. He's hot. He drops another. Going to be a high scorer. I mentioned earlier on, you might have to drop 100 to win it. You might have to drop a few more. Randall again. You can see the shot clock, game clock differential. So Melbourne United will get it back. Jerome Randall sucks some seconds off the clock. Down to single figures now. Mitch Creek. Johnson. Inside, Jacobson. Almost. The spin move, Creek. Couldn't get it to go. So Melbourne United, last chance here to edge a little closer, but at least for United's sake, it'll be a single-figure deficit to overcome in the second half. Oh, they turned it over. Maybe it won't be. 4 seconds left, 3 seconds left. Time enough for the 36ers to make this hurt. What a horrendous way to finish the half for Melbourne United. Had they dropped the 3 or even 2 in to finish the half, they would have walked in full of confidence. But right now, if the 36ers can get a bucket in this last 3 seconds, they'll be the ones going in cock-a-hoop at half-time. Dean Demopoulos not happy.
Come on, let's get a stop. Let's get a stop. How are we going to stop? The jump. Ball's where? Up here? Under? Watch the lob for Creek. You can't go advance. You can't advance the ball now. What are you talking about? Yeah, here. All right, listen. I don't want anybody playing the ball. All right, don't play the ball. Get back in here. All right, make them catch it in front of you. All right, and then start giving ground. Stay down. All right, stay down. We good with that? Everybody okay? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right? Nothing long. If you get in trouble, switch it. Let's go. Come on, get a stop.
Well, I hope you got that at home. If you're not pushed back in your lounge chair after hearing that. Dean Demopoulos screaming the instructions there, letting them know in no uncertain terms. And been around the block a few times, coached University of Missouri before became an NBA assistant with Seattle, Portland and the Clippers. Was also an assistant at Temple University under their great old defense. What can they do here? Randall, maybe too late. Maybe they put too much pressure on and it'll work for them, but they'll still go in with a deficit at the half. They won't be happy with that, Melbourne United. But if you're watching this at home, Adelaide 36ers fans, this is a massive turnaround from what you saw in game 1. That 34-point demolition at the hands of Illawarra could be turned around 2 days later if you can have a big second half here. 51-42, Tommy Greer downstairs.
Jerome, between yourself and Mitch Creek, you guys seem to be doing a great job of pushing the tempo in this game. Is that a focus coming into this?
Yeah, it's a focus. We know what happened last game, and we're trying to come out with a lot more energy today.
Man, everyone at home is enjoying the battle between you and Cedric Jackson. Seems to be trying to take you down to that low block a lot. You expecting to see more of that in the second half?
And that's fine. He can keep taking me down there. I'm strong enough to hold my balance. Good players is going to make good shots, and he's a great player, so he's going to hit a couple tough shots. So I just have to hold my ground and try to contain him.
I like it. Good luck in the second half, mate. Back to you, Dwayne.
Thanks, Tommy. A confident Jerome Randall. Why wouldn't you be when you lead at half-time away from home? Melbourne United on the ropes at the half at Hisense. Been a phenomenal first round of the 2016-2017 NBL season. It's more than lived up to expectations. Coming off last season, we expected this season to be bigger and better. But the way it's unfolding right now, Tommy Greer, it's hard to actually know what's going to happen in every game and in every quarter you go into. Who would have thought that the Adelaide 36ers, coming off that demolition in game one, would have the advantage at the half here the way they do by 9?
Absolutely, and I'm sure Joey Wright would have put a rocket in them after that performance in Illawarra. So to see them come out like this says a lot about that 36ers lineup.
And it says a lot about Jerome Randall. They've invested a lot in Jerome Randall. He was probably the reason they were a chance to almost win the title last year at one stage, but then they dropped off late in the year. But he's been fantastic again. Let's have a look at some of the highlights here, and we'll show you some individual highlights from Jerome Randall shortly. But Hodgson's been good. Jacobson's been good. They've had a few support casts that have really delivered. Johnson's been outstanding when it's been his turn.
It really has. And in a game like this where the pace is high, there's going to be a lot of points scored, so your team has to go deep. You've got to have players producing off the bench, getting 4, 5, 8 points in the game to really carry you to that 100-point total.
Yeah, Chris Golding's had a couple of balls and he hasn't really let it out just yet. And everyone is expecting somebody to take control here for Melbourne United, like Randall has taken control for the 36ers.
There's no doubt about it to me. Slowing down Randall is the key for Melbourne United here. He's been pushing the tempo of this game, and it really suits this young, athletic 36ers squad. Ramon
Moore has delivered. Ty Wesley's delivered a couple of times, but every time Melbourne United looked as if they were going to eat into this margin, the Adelaide 36ers had an answer or two.
And look at that, Daniel Johnson. He's knocked down 3 of them, I think, so far in this game. Really feeling good from the perimeter.
Yeah, absolutely. And this crowd a little stunned right now. It's a full house here at Hisense Arena for the first home game of the season for Melbourne United. And there's Jerome Randall so far, 18 points to half-time. So, in essence, he's got more points now than he had for the entire game, game one.
And look, what's impressing me is the shooting percentage, 8 of 12. He's just getting to the rack, getting what he wants against this Melbourne United team. I got no doubt about it. Dean Demopoulos is in that change room at halftime, looking straight at Cedric Jackson, calling him out. These are 2 of the best point guards we've got in the NBL, and they're going head-to-head.
Yeah, Jerome Randall had a fairly lean pre-season comp as well, didn't he? There were worries that he wasn't the same player this year that he was in last season, but he has really delivered in this one so far tonight. So maybe another upset on offer here at Hisense Arena today after we've seen a round full of upsets and strange results. If you're not aware of what's happened so far, Brisbane Bullets, they've come back into the league with a bang, haven't they, the Brisbane Bullets?
They really have. So impressed with what they've managed to do, taking care of the Perth Wildcats, obviously the reigning champs, and then to back it up on Saturday night and take care of the new look Sydney Kings. Really impressive effort by coach Andre Lamanis with that squad.
Now it says Perth Wildcats 84, Cairns Taipan 74, but it came down to this for extra time.
How big time was Jerron Johnson down the stretch for the Wildcats in this one?
Yeah, we went to overtime after that bomb. So he had 2 seconds to drop in a 3-pointer to tie the scores. And after a lean game one for him, he really delivered as an import should deliver, as expected to deliver.
He really did. All 3 of the Perth Wildcats imports stepped up. Showtime, Big McKay, Jerron Johnson, of course, Casey Prather, who all eyes are on for a potential MVP this year.
So we'll see who delivers here in the second half. Don't go away. Adelaide 51, Melbourne 42. Welcome back to Hisense Arena. Halftime here, Adelaide 51, Melbourne United 42, and Adelaide has led for the majority of the afternoon by 4 at quarter time, by 9 at half time as we head back out to two-time championship winner Tommy Greer.
Dean, the pace of this game is so important, and it seems like the 36ers are really controlling it at the moment. What have you instructed the boys in order to slow that up in the second half?
Well, it'd be nice to make a few shots, so they have to play at, and, you know, to play off of rebounds a lot of times, very difficult to control pace that way. We got to make a muscle and do a better job on the defensive end of the floor.
And what about Jerome Randall specifically? He's sort of got off the leash a little bit. Is that on Cedric Jackson to lock him up, or is it a team effort on a guy like that?
It's a team effort, Tommy, you know that. Absolutely a team effort. 5 guys got to play the ball always.
Good luck, mate. Good luck in the second half.
Thanks, bud.
Dean DeMobilis still in good spirits. That's because there's a half left. So we'll have a chat to Tommy Greer very shortly when he returns back to the commentary position about just how happy Dean DeMobilis was when he was off camera. Great to see the Brendan Favola in the house. Everyone asking, who's that guy with Brendan Favola? If you're a footy fan, but if you're a tennis fan, you're asking, who's that guy with Leighton Hewitt? That is the 2-time Grand Slam singles champion and one of the greatest tennis players this country has ever produced. Leighton Hewitt down there having a chat to Fev, Adelaide Crows fan, Adelaide 36ers fan, and what a treat it is to have him in the house here. But it goes to show how big a show it is coming to see a Melbourne United game. Not just the old AFL stars, but there's stars from stage and screen and from various sports here. Action back underway. Tommy Greer's back with us, and Jerome Randall back with the ball and back to the hoop for
Hasn't
2.
missed a step, straight back into the action. Jerome Randall is looking for his own 50-piece.
Jackson with Randall. Somebody's got to have to do something sometime for Melbourne United. Otherwise, it'll be a 0-2 start for the season. Blanchfield for 3. And finally, they pulled out a rebound, although Williams lost it, and it's the 36ers ball.
36ers doing a great job on the defensive glass. They're going in packs, just making sure they send at least 3 guys to the glass every time.
Randall's been unstoppable again. Creek, Tees. Tees looking for Randall. He's taken on Jackson behind the back, and the fadeaway. Didn't get the roll, and a good rebound from Williams. He wasn't pulling down many first half. He's already grabbed a couple here. Jackson takes on Randall, gave him the shove. Pulled the foul, but didn't get the bucket.
Love that.
For the shot.
Love that from Cedric Jackson, just getting right into the body there of Jerome Randall. Just sending a little bit of a message at the start of the second half. It's not going to be quite as easy for you going down the stretch of this one.
Golding. Tees right with him. Jackson with some space on Randall. Got the screen. Pulls it back. Couldn't drop the 2. And Tees the rebound. Randall. Jacobson. Johnson lost it for a second. Anderson. Oh, he poked it away. Jackson down the other end. Should go all the way to the hole. Jerome Randall lets him go. And slapped away, but still the bucket. The follow-up was superb, Tom Blanchfield. What about Jerome Randall just saying, you get the foul, I'm not getting it. Oh, one rim's out.
Little heat check there by Jerome Randall.
Crowd still relatively silent. Anderson. And a good first 7 or 8 minutes. Golding. Inside. Good look. Superb. And one coming up. They're getting warmer now, Melbourne United. Jackson to the line.
Fantastic find by Chris Golding from the top of the key. Little dart pass into his partner in crime, Cedric Jackson, who earned himself the and one. That's a couple of fouls in a row on Jerome Randall as well. Melbourne United coach Dean Demopoulos will be very happy about that.
Absolutely. Quick time out here. Joey Wright consents it, and Dean Demopoulos started to get what he asked for.
That's now the 3 fouls on Jerome Randall early on in this second half. He's going to have to play a little bit careful to finish off this third.
All right, get back to what you're doing. I'm watching the ball down there.
Joey Wright.
We don't need that early shot. All right, get to the hole. They've been struggling pick and roll. Set them pick and roll. DJ, I need you strong with that ball. Elbows out. All right, you're in here. Elbows out. I need you not standing off the ball. You're standing and watching as they're making a move here. Come on, get back to our stuff. Energy on defense. Come on. Watch the zone out of this. If they go quick from the free throw, all right. If we get down there and they're in zone, straight into transit dive. All right, transit dive. Let's go, fellas. Come on.
Joe Wright screaming for a little more effort and putting his request in. We put our request in to see if we could have a chat to one of the superstars of world sport, Leighton Hewitt, and he granted our wishes. He's a commentator in his own right. We'll give Channel 7 a plug. Welcome to you, Leighton. Great to have you here.
No, it's good to be here today. Great atmosphere, and Adelaide's on top at the moment, so going okay.
And you love your sport. You love your Adelaide Crows, obviously, but you love your 36ers too.
Yeah, absolutely. I was the #1 ticket holder back probably about 15 years ago when I was back in Adelaide. I've known Phil Smythe all my life as well, so it's good to be here today.
Planning on getting to a few games this season, Leighton?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the NBL's really picked up the last couple of years again, and it's just, as I said, the atmosphere in here at Hisense Arena is fantastic. I'm based more in Melbourne now, so hopefully I can come and watch the Melbourne boys play a bit more too.
Jackson drops that one in. Before we return to the action, Leighton, you've obviously seen a lot of sport around the world. How's the NBL compare now, given that you've seen NBA, you've been around the world and seen so many great sports and so many great arenas?
Yeah, well, this has been fantastic today. It's been a real eye-opener, I think, to where the NBL was probably 5-8 years ago. Yeah. I think it's really picked up and it's on the improve. And, you know, I think it's great, obviously, having the One Melbourne team now as well for the whole state to follow. But, you know, it has been really good. And I think the way the Boomers went as well in the Olympics and how good we've got some of our Australian players playing now in the NBA.
What do you think, Leighton? You reckon they can loan us the arena during the Australian Open this year, or what? Can you have a word to someone?
Yeah, I don't know about that. We may need it, but no, it is a great arena. We're very spoiled here in Australia.
You played footy as a kid. Did you play basketball too?
A little bit. My height doesn't help me, that's for sure.
Well, you're taller than Jerome Randall, aren't you?
Yeah, I know. He has been on fire.
We'll get you to stick around for a second and then we'll let you go back. I know you've got your kids here, but fantastic to have you in the commentary position for a second. Golding feeds it off. Blanchfield, plenty of space ahead. And another one ripped down by Jacobson. And it's a 36ers ball.
36ers just doing a great job of picking up the energy, sending double teams everywhere in the backcourt, really forcing Melbourne to play at a pace they're not comfortable with.
So your kids, Leighton, basketball, football or tennis? So
well, my son plays all three at the moment, so there is 3 sports. So, yeah, I just like giving him all those different options. Obviously, basketball, the team aspect's fantastic. Tennis on the individual side.
It's been a delight to have you. Thanks
Leighton
boys.
Hewitt,
and thanks Channel 7 for allowing him to jump on Fox Sports, and a little cross-promotion doesn't hurt. We're going around the world, of course, through China, so it's great to have your company there with a few international stars in the house. In the meantime, Williams uses a bit of bustle.
This thing's got physical. Both point guards really getting into the body of the other one. Big Devin Williams with a point to prove.
Randall pushes his way through traffic. Jacobson, well, they left him alone, and he gets the 2 back. This game's lifted another gear. Jackson. Crowd more than getting their money's worth. Hope you're enjoying this wherever you are watching around the world. Jackson. Thought about staring it down. Golding, turn, shoot. Not quite feeling it yet, but look out when he does. Randall. To silence again. Full house. Pin drop territory at the moment. Johnson. And that one doesn't drop, and they were dropping in the first half.
Good run by Devin
Williams. Oh, the alley-oop! Devin Williams, you ran it, he was fouled.
Great run. You could just see Eric Jacobson watching the ball, had Devin Williams cutting right behind him. Great run. Look at this man's work, right into the body of the defender.
He's been a pick-up over summer. As I mentioned, originally from Cincinnati, but went to college at West Virginia. And we talked about stories. He's got one of his older brothers was gunned down one night late in Cincinnati, and he was determined to make a life for himself, not stick around and have the hardship weigh on him and his family. And he's come to Australia to make a statement here, Devon Williams. Great to have him. There's plenty of arc on that one. And he'll have a sit down after having an impact in the first couple of minutes of this third.
Ramon Moore checks back into the game after his hot finish to the second half.
And he's been around the block as well, Ramon Moore. Played in Italy, Ukraine, Hungary, Tel Aviv. Last season in Lithuania before signing with Melbourne United. So they've got some experiences. Tees drops in a big three.
And they just left Brendan Tees wide open on that possession. Just dared him, just test the water, see if he's going to be able to knock it down.
Answering every challenge, the 36ers. Golding flicks it out. Anderson for three. Not that time. Jackson, but they're finally getting some rebounds. United flicks it out. Moore from the corner.
Ramon Moore still stroking it, just carrying on from his work in the first half, sorry.
The crowd getting out of their seats here at the moment. Really starting to lift the volume. Hodgson. Magic in his face, and he drops in the hook fadeaway.
How about the touch on young Matty Hodgson? He's done that twice now. Just give you a little rainbow sky hook.
Yep.
So tough to come.
Beautiful. Ramon Moore. And you can see before your very eyes as Jackson tries to back it in. Anderson to the corner to Golding. Tries to get Tees in the air. Got in there. And
real solid defense then by Brendan Tees. Managed to keep himself on the floor.
So a little nudge under the bucket. It's still a United ball. You can see the standards lifted this year. Every game across round one has proven that the standard has gone up another level.
Look
Here's
at
the
this
Hodgson
little
move.
Spin move. Just a deft touch. Shaking his head on the way back down the floor.
Golding again with Tees. Giving no breathing space. Wearing him like a glove.
Great help there. Secondary help by Matty Hodgson coming up to contest that one.
Creek hooks it off the glass. Golding pulls down a rebound. Adjusts the headband. Make sure the Alice band is in place.
You got to be looking good for the highlight reel, Dwayno.
Absolutely. And there it is. Here we go. Oh, he adjusted the hair specifically for that three attempt. Anderson busts his way and charge against Dave Anderson.
And just credit to Brendan Tees putting his body on the line. The much bigger David Anderson coming down the lane on that one. How good has he been on the defensive end on the floor, even just this last 5 minutes?
Randall. Takes his time. Couple in his face. Got a big arc on that. And again, the muscle of the rebound from Hodgson.
Impressive work by Matty Hodgson in the last couple of minutes here on both ends of the floor.
Tees has been relentless in the face of Golding. Moore.
Oh,
Jackson under the bucket, left free, and it drops.
Great find there by Ramon Moore. That's why he's such an asset to this United squad. He can do a little bit of everything. He can shoot that three ball. He's great at finding his teammates.
Tees got it up beautifully. Every 36ers player has lifted from that horror show in game one. Jackson. Golding gets some space on Tees for the first time. Draws the foul. Wanted the and one, but at least will go to the line.
And good take. Melbourne United will be looking to Chris Golding down the stretch of this one to lift the workload on offense. Good take by him here. Gets himself a trip to the foul line. Hopefully that'll heat him up a little bit.
Jerome Randall's got 22 points, by the way, if you've just joined us. Ramon Moore, 15 for United, their leading scorer.
3 of 3 from the arc from Ramon Moore as well.
And Golding just the 6 points as it stands right now. 2 of 10 from the field.
Those percentages tend to work themselves out though, Dwayne.
And he's the money man, so a big last quarter not beyond Chris Golding, and certainly the expectation of the crowd right now is that it'll be a big last quarter for Melbourne United. They didn't come here expecting to see a loss. And he puts both in with ease. Could have done that blindfolded.
And look, I like that by Melbourne United. Just getting the ball out of the hands of Jerome Randall in the backcourt.
More.
Straight to the block.
Here we go. Golding for 3.
And Melbourne United getting the looks. They're getting pretty open looks on the perimeter, with Adelaide having to send that double team to help Jerome Randall in the low block. They're just not knocking it down.
Drimmick. Randall. Shot clock down to 6. Oh, on the run, the little runner floater from Jerome Randall.
Just so smooth, the way he just leaves the defender in the dust on that little crossover.
Sobey in Golding's face this time. Williams. Wesley's there if he wants to kick it out. He doesn't. He wants it himself. And Johnson the rebound.
And no movement on the offensive end of the floor. Once that thing went into the block there with Devin Williams, you saw 4 United players just standing around the perimeter.
The turn and shoot from Drimmick. Sensational. And Dean Demobilis has seen enough.
And look, this boy can shoot. Young Drimmick, known as a three-point bomber from his time in Boise State, just narrowly got pipped for all-time scoring leader at Boise. I think of 2 points he fell short.
Matt Hodgson has been one of those that from game 1, where he failed to score a point, to game 2, where he's got 8 points and he's been fantastic, pulling down a rebound. But he got 6 rebounds so far tonight, look, Matt Hodgson.
It's so good to see as well. He was on a lot of people's breakout candidates list, Matty Hodgson. So athletic for a young big, can actually rise up, get upstairs pretty well as well. Looking for big things out of him this season.
See if we can sneak in here on Joey Wright.
Try to get weak side action, so don't fall asleep on this. The skip is there as well. They try to get weak side action. They're squeezing. All right, hey, they're squeezing on balls, so set them a little lower. Set your own balls a little lower. All right, we're in head tap. We're in head tap, okay? Let's get a... Let's fucking go, man. Let's get...
Joey Wright just directing his troops there. Another interesting one. We haven't seen any of Majop Deng tonight. Hasn't stepped foot on the floor yet. Wonder if he's sitting under an injury cloud. Was a decent performer in Illawarra, the 13 points in that one.
Yeah, and 6 rebounds. And if you haven't seen Majop Deng, he's Sudanese, was born in Sudan, went to college in the US, but he's actually a local from Adelaide. Went to high school in Windsor Gardens and played for Forestville. So we talk about heritage. He's a local guy who's doing pretty good, but not out there in this game. And as Tommy Greer told you, he was very impressive in game 1. Golding. Again, 2 in his face, Sobey and Johnson.
Right here, right here.
Ty Wesley. Johnson giving him no room. Tried to spin baseline on him. And the hook. Tough shot, though.
Always manages to get a good look, Ty Wesley, even when it's, you know, he was one out there for a good 10 seconds of that shot clock, but always manages to gain a little bit of space and get up a clean look.
Didn't get a clean rebound, though. The 36ers had 2 ready for it. So still United ball, fresh 14 on the shot clock. Golding thought about the catch and shoot. Takes it to the paint. Rebound from Wesley. Golding free for 3.
Big rebound, Devin Williams.
Didn't get it to go off the glass. Gets his own rebound and loses it. Sobey.
And that's that pack mentality of these 36ers. Everyone just swarming to the glass around the big man, Devin Williams.
And this league getting a little nasty now. 13, and they can add to it here. Drimmick.
Terrence Ferguson back in the game.
90 seconds left in the third, and it was the third where they were crushed in game 1. Johnson pokes it up. Drimmick thought he had it, and there's been a bit of a collision under the bucket.
Just on the way down there, Anthony Drimmick locking up the arms of Toddy Blanchfield. Look at this, flying in, crashing on that glass.
He pulled Blanchfield down when he knew he was going down.
He sure did.
This will be a United ball. So 1:21 left, 13 points, and Blanchfield will go to the line because they're in the bonus.
And look, United to be really trying to keep this thing under 10 going into the fourth. You don't want to give fast break team like the 36ers too much head start going into the last quarter.
And he had a fairly lean game one as well. And that lost to New Zealand just the 4 points.
And look, I think we saw a similar situation with the Sydney Kings lineup. Sometimes when you have a roster that's so stacked, you know, you've got so many weapons, it takes you a few games. Sometimes it takes you a few rounds to work out where guys are going to get their shots.
And makes one of two. This is a pretty big 1:21 coming up here.
Huge.
Sobey. Johnson. Sobey. Ferguson quickly to the corner. There's the double team and almost the turnover. Tees takes on Golding, puts the hook up off the glass. It doesn't drop, and there's another foul under the bucket. And this time it's on Blanchfield.
36 is earning himself another second shot attempt. Eric Jacobson with this, the hustle work on this offensive rebound.
So 12 points, and they can add to it here. Johnson. Sobey. Plenty of spark for the fadeaway too, and they'll get the rebound again. Ferguson. Johnson. Ferguson. See if the kid puts it up. Gave it back to Johnson. Ran into a roadblock. Still good enough though, Jacobson.
And the rebounding, once again, an issue for Melbourne United. It was their bugbear last year. They thought they'd sorted it out with the addition of Devin Williams.
Wesley from a mile out. From another postcode almost. And they're putting up some ugly shots as well as not getting the rebounds at the other end.
Rebound count sitting at 27-32 in Adelaide's favour. Not quite as one direction as I was thinking.
32-27 the score. 14 points the margin. It was 4 at quarter time. It was 9 at half time. What's it going to be? You can see the shot clock, game clock differential. Melbourne United theoretically will get it back. But the way they've been rebounding and getting foul calls, Adelaide United 36ers, they are putting a statement to the rest of the comp. Forget our game one loss to Illawarra.
Loving the effort of young Eric Jacobson, only 22 years old. First time being professional here for the Adelaide 36ers, just doing all the extra work on the offensive glass.
There he is with that big tattoo on his shoulder that he said represents his mum, his 3 sisters and God, all wrapped into one tattoo. Wanted to get something to represent them all, and he's done that. He's got it on the shoulder and he's wearing it proudly in a great performance here this afternoon at Hisense Arena. He goes to the line. What will Melbourne United draw up here with 9 seconds left, do you think? They need a bucket for their own confidence.
They do. I think they'll be looking at Chris Golding. Probably use him in an on-ball situation. Maybe even with Ty Wesley.
Okay, so Golding's waiting for it. Back down the floor, 4 seconds left. To Golding. He's going to have to put up the 3-bomb. He goes inside, surprises everyone, and it doesn't drop.
And
that's been the story.
Long stare by Chris Golding at the referee on that one. Thought he caught a bit of body.
Didn't get the roll, didn't get the foul, and they haven't got the score, but it's a 36ers 73, United 58. One quarter of basketball left. Sunday afternoon, full house, Hisense Arena, but the home team under a huge amount of pressure. Coming off a Game 1 loss, Game 2 here, first home game of the year, and they trail with a quarter to go by 15.
And look, they need to start this quarter in a hurry. They need to feed off a little bit of energy in Hisense Arena here and get this thing going.
They start with the ball at least. Ramon Moore, Golding inside, Wesley back out. Tomlinson passes up the opportunity.
Little zone defense by the 36ers, mixing stuff up. Start the fourth.
And they get the turnover. Jerome Randall kicks it out. Johnson, who was hot for three early. They need a rebound. United, they finally get one. Golding under pressure from Tees, as he has been for much of his afternoon. He's free here. Thought about Jacobson. He had him on the back pedal. Takes it up. And
oh my
he wanted it at one, but he'll take the two. And the turnover as well. The crowd are back into it, and Golding's back into it.
Incredible touch off the glass on that last attempt by Chris Golding, and Nate Tomlinson pushes the tempo.
Outside the Blanchfield, it won't count. Turnover.
Joey Wright absolutely livid at Mitch Creek.
Here's his captain, Mitch Creek. Steps inside, pulls it back, Tees. Randall from the corner, and a great block.
Fantastic contest there by Ty Wesley, and that's how you've got to guard someone like Jerome Randall. You've got to give him a little bit of extra space because he's so quick. He's just going to go right past you. Wesley did a great job using his length, waited till Randall committed to the shot before contesting.
That's the voice of two-time NBL champion Tommy Greer joining us this afternoon, and will be right throughout this NBL season. 73-60, Tomlinson to Golding, and he loses it. Jerome Randall got a couple in front of him, pulls it back out. Getting ready to set it up. Johnson. And draws the foul.
And I like that's much more aggressive basketball by Daniel Johnson. Really like what we've seen out of him tonight. He had the height advantage against Toddy Blanchfield. Made sure Jerome Randall was aware of that. Went to work in the low block. Look at this, just backing him down. Using that size advantage.
Been an outstanding performance by the 36ers. No Majok Deng. They've lost Gibson, Walker, Petrie over the off-season. They've added the 18-year-old Terrence Ferguson, Jacobson and Drimmick.
They've added 5 guys who are yet to play a full season of professional basketball into this 36ers roster.
And they came here to Hisense after being spanked by Illawarra by 34 to get some respect back. And they've certainly stuck to that plan.
Daniel Johnson up to the 17 points now, 6 rebounds and 2 assists to go with that.
Ramon Moore, Blanchfield. Wesley left free. Spends it wisely.
And he's been looking for that all game. It was nice and hot against the Breakers. Struggled to find it tonight. Hopefully that one gets him moving.
The crowd can sense it. It's not over yet. Mitch Creek can sense it, their captain. Takes him on. Creek all the way and rejected by Wesley. Still a 36ers ball, but that's the defense.
What a take
Dean
by
DeMonis
Mitch
is
Creek.
after.
Love this, just splitting through that defense. What an athlete.
Yet another Creek trying to overflow here in Victoria this afternoon. A few people had some trouble getting here, but it's a full house. They've come from the country, they come from everywhere to see United start this season, their first home game. They came here expecting a win. Jerome Randall, one of the men that stands between them and a win. Behind the back. Pulls up for two. By Wesley, the rebound. Quickly down the floor. Takes on Creek. Flicks it out. Blanchfield, corner. And Wesley, rebound. Ramon Moore. And Blanchfield nudged. It's the 36ers ball.
And look, Melbourne United, they're getting the looks. That was great penetration by Cedric Jackson, finding Toddy Blanchfield open on the baseline, just unable to knock it down at the moment.
There's the field goal percentages. That tells a huge story.
35% from the field for Melbourne United, 49 for the 36ers.
Randall pulls it out. Jacobson thought about it, thought better of it. Tees ran to a roadblock. Jackson knows they need to spend it wisely. They're running out of time. Tomlinson pulls up. Jackson inside. Wesley and rejected by Jacobson.
Woo, the young boy's got some bounce.
So it's working at both ends now for the 36ers. Still in control of this one. It's their game to lose. Tees. And seconds off the clock. Getting more important by the minute now too. And no charge there.
Great patience by Brendan Tees. Been in the league a long time now. And look at this, Jacobson just coming over, swatting that one against the glass. Wrong mailbox, Wesley.
Tees to the line. Yeah. It's looking easier by the minute for the 36ers. Won just 2 of their past 9 games in Melbourne. Started this season with back-to-back road games, and Joey Wright being told to sit down here. Or was it Dean Demopoulos told to sit down? No, Joey. And he does like to strut the floor, Joey. He wears out a pair of shoes a week.
He's always dressed so dapper. He wants to make sure everyone can see him.
Jackson. Who's going to be the man who turns this game for Melbourne United? Jackson. Flicks it back out. This is huge. For 3, and again it rims out. So Nate Tomlinson can't get them to drop. Todd Blanchfield can't get them to drop. They're all having a turn. Golding's yet to get hot. Dave Anderson's been a little cold since quarter time. And again, more seconds off the clock. Shot clock down to 5. Randall tried to be the facilitator, turns it over. So they get the stop. Jackson, quick transition bucket if it's there, and it doesn't drop, but he drew the foul.
And Cedric Jackson, so poised. He understands the situation in this game. They've got to play in more of a hurry than they used to now, Melbourne United. 5 minutes 50 left on the clock. They've got to start getting some points on this board, get that thing ticking over if they're a chance.
Yeah, get the pressure back on the 36ers by pulling this down to a single-digit lead. Because at the moment, Adelaide 36ers should be relatively comfortable in their skins. 77-63. But if they can pull it back to a 6-7 point game, pressure will be back on them. Jackson drops the first. Makes both of them with ease.
Big time free throws by Cedric Jackson. Career 56% from the free throw line, so that was big time.
Jerome Randall is back. Quite in the pre-season, but he's been back today. 24 points so far. Creek back to Jerome. Shakes off Jackson. Got bumped on the attempt. No foul. Jackson down the other end. Ramon Moore. And one. No, couldn't quite get it, but he'll go to the line.
And you can just sense this Melbourne United squad. They're feeling the moment right now. Ramon Moore running that wing, getting out in transition. It's a good look for United.
Well, no need to tell you. He drops both of these. It's back to 10. 5:28 left.
Look, Ramon Moore's just been big time for Melbourne United in this game. Up to 14 points now. 5 of 8 shooting. That's 63% from the field.
They've been able to get a couple of stops in the last 2 minutes, Melbourne United. Crowd getting revved up. Mitch Craig to Johnson.
Going in that mismatch again.
On Blanchfield. And they get the stop. And they get a quick transition bucket here. We're down to 5 minutes. Jackson looks up. Takes on Randall. Oh, he tried to give it to Golding. Almost stripped. The dive from Tees. Desperation. And it's a United ball.
Brendan Teese's hustle, though, once again getting a hand on that loose ball. Diving on the floorboards. Always the first to the floor. He's been inspirational.
Had some amazing finishes so far in this first round of the 2016-2017 season. And this one threatening to go down to the wire as well. Golding with the inbounds. We're down to 5 minutes.
Nothing that I've seen yet, Joey. I'm looking for you, but no, that was all right, man. That was all right.
Who does he go to? Tommy?
Always beware the inbounder.
Back to Golding.
Especially when that man's Chris Golding.
Okay, Tees will be ready for it. Jackson. Golding wants it back. Oh, he used an elbow. It's a 36's ball.
That's a tough call on Cedric Jackson. It's been very physical down in the paint. All game on the glass in those little post situations. Tough call there for Cedric Jackson. Let's have a look. Just caught him on a little bit of a hook there, staying with, wrap that elbow right around the backside of Jerome Randall.
Not happy, Cedric Jackson. Still a 10-point game. 4:52 left. We're not allowed to sneak into the huddles inside 2 minutes, but you can bet we're going to do it now. Here's Dean Demopoulos.
Let's go. Listen. We're in shadow, but here's what I want. I want Randall. Try to force him to get the ball down here. All right? Listen in. We want to trap him real quick right here. And then rotate over, yeah. So we're playing the ball out of bounds, but we want to get him flat as we can. All right? Want to get flat as we can. All right? Listen. We scramble out of it. All right? We scramble out of it. We go man. All right? One trap. Hey, next time down. All right? Get Cedric. First play. Get Cedric out. Get David here. All right? Cut hard. Into the middle. We're in a spread over here. You guys got that? All right, right here. Let's go.
And so what Coach Dean Demopoulos is trying to achieve here is trying to force Jerome Randall as high up the floor as possible and get the ball out of his hands by sending a double team at him. Once they accomplish that, they just don't let him get it back. They're going to deny. They're going to really try and make someone else beat them here down the stretch.
So back to the action. They get the ball out of Jerome Randall's hands by double teaming him from the inbounds. Tees. Golding wears him to Creek. Now they get it to Randall. Their money man. Tees. Shot clock single figures. Golding in his face. Using the hip check. Kicked out to Creek. Golding, they get the stop.
Better defensive possession that time by Melbourne United.
They can get that lead down to a single figure. Jackson running the play that Dean Demopoulos drew up. Anderson, turn, shoot, shebang.
I like it. We need to see more of that. Get David Anderson in the block. He's been doing it around the world for 17 years now.
And the 36ers know they've got a game now.
Almost caused a turnover there at the center court line.
Jerome Randall doesn't normally get shaky. Oh, that's as solid and as cold-blooded as ever.
And he lives for this. He waits for the fourth quarter. 3 minutes on the clock. Cold-blooded by Jerome Randall.
So we're back to 10. Jackson. Okay, United. What do you got? Blanchfield. Thought about no. Ends up yes.
Tough make. Little hesitation on that three-point attempt. Thought he was going to put it away.
Tease. Randall. Golding in his grill.
And we've got a ball game. 7 points separating the two teams.
Randall gives it away. Johnson from way outside. Was never a chance. Randall gets it back though.
Using the clock. Heads up play by Jerome Randall. Just milk that clock.
Golding nearly stripped it.
Oh,
he shook him off. And the floater on the run.
Taste the rainbow, Jerome Randall.
Jackson back down the other end. Wants to go to the hole himself. Does off the glass. We've lifted another gear.
How good's the NBL? Look at this, two titans back and forth.
Bigger pay packets, better imports, more imports, and it's living up to expectations. 81-74, 2.5 minutes left. Randall tried to shake it off Golding. Oh, you can't stop that. Too much class.
Handles by Randall, just cold-blooded down the stretch in this one.
Jackson all the way himself. Drew the foul and won. It's not over yet.
And how entertaining is this? Two of the best point guards in the NBL just going head-to-head down the stretch of this one. Great take. Look at this, is the little crossover. Just popped it up there. Softest touch you'll see by Jerome Randall. And then a little hesitation, stop and pop. Big-time plays by Jerome Randall.
Joe Wright doing his best work, dancing the sideline. So 2 minutes and 11 left. A free throw to come for Melbourne United. So, in theory, they can pull this back to a two-possession game with 2 minutes left. Dean DeMobilis are drawing up a defensive play here for when the 36ers get the ball back after this free throw.
Okay. Run your power. Elbows. So you got the two-man here, right? Right? This is Dave. All right. You hit. He comes up. You hit, right? This way. All right. Now, go out. This way. Okay? The two-man go this way. David, you open up and fake the handoff, go middle. All right, right down the gut. You guys got that? Right here. Team.
Doesn't really matter what sport you're into, right down the gut. Probably translates in every sport.
And I like it. I like they're going back to David Anderson. Like I said, he's been doing this around the world. So good in pressure situations. And he's been good tonight. I'm not sure he's seen enough of it.
Chemist Warehouse timeout, of course, with all the Chemist Warehouse crew here, Mario and the boys. Tried to give away $1 million this round for their sharp shoot.
I'll tell you what, they gave away a few T-shirts. Packed house.
They did, and the crowd have enjoyed the timeouts and the breaks as well. Of course, AHG, the big sponsor for Melbourne United, Glenn Sharp and the crew giving away a car last year. Australia's largest motor group, as you can see in the background. And that free throw lost. Whose ball is it? 36's ball.
Once again, Melbourne United going to look to take the ball out of Jerome Randall's hands.
So it's not a two-possession game.
Double.
Johnson.
Straight to get it back. He knows it's money time. He wants to have possession.
Randall takes on Jackson. And turnover. Big stop there. Jackson, Cedric Jackson, has pulled out one of the plays of the afternoon.
And look at this, just a little push off late when he got to the hoop. You can see just that off arm in the back of Cedric Jackson. Big time play.
Well, he got one against him down the other end for the little elbow hook. That'll feel good. Now they can pull it back to a 2-possession game.
And that's 5 fouls for Jerome Randall being sent to the bench.
Jeez.
Someone else is going to have to close this thing out.
That is massive. Anderson. Golding. Out to Anderson for
Good
3.
play.
Not quite. And Tees, massive rebound. They've got no Jerome Randall to go to here.
They need to use the clock now without Randall.
Who's their man now?
I'm looking at Daniel Johnson or a Mitch Creek.
Tees. Sucking the seconds off the clock. They're down to 4. Someone's going to have to put it up. Sobey with Jackson in his face. Can get the rebound. Jackson takes it down. Looks at Tees. Hands to Golding. All part of the clan. Blanchfield. Whoa, boy!
We're not done yet, Dueno.
We knew this was coming. It's a 4-point game, 1 minute left. And now the pressure on Adelaide to get a bucket.
Who's going to step up for the 36ers?
No Jerome Randall. Do you get him back out there? 40 seconds left. The captain.
The spin move.
Mitch Creek, the spin. And there it is.
Smooth. Mitch Creek, we've been waiting for it all game. Just picked his moment down the stretch.
Jackson at the other end. Rush shot. And it's a 36ers ball. That was huge from the captain.
And look at this leadership. Have a look at the Toddy Blanchfield knockdown first. The spin move just on a dime rises up for the finish, Mitch Creek.
So pressure on the inbound here, 28 seconds left. Still a 6-point game. 2-possession game.
United staying in the press. They've got to try and force a turnover here.
Everyone here in this full house on the edge of their seats. Johnson. Sobey gets it. Almost a turnover. Back to Sobey.
Got a foul now.
Sobey to go to the line.
4, 3, check. Here we go.
43 foul.
Big time free throws coming up here for Nathan Sobey. Knocking down both of these would pretty much ice it, you would think.
Oh, that makes the pressure on this one double. With 18 seconds left. Look at his eyes. He knows it. The crowd know it. Oh, that's class. That is a huge moment in this game. No Jerome Randall out there. Their big gun, their money man, and Sobey delivers with his second of 2 free throws.
Chemist Warehouse timeout for Coach Dean Demopoulos and Melbourne United. They'll be looking for a real quick hitter here. Obviously, they need to get something up really quickly. Probably a 3-ball at this stage.
Melbourne United were horrible in the last quarter against New Zealand, outscored in the last 28-19 by 9. They like to back themselves in last quarters last season to get the job done under pressure, but when you're 15 down at 3/4 time, it's a bridge too far.
Yeah, it is. It just took too long to turn it on here this evening. They've looked much better down the stretch, you know. Once things tightened up and they realised the game was on the line, they did look a lot better.
So obviously they need a quick 3 here. So it's Golding for the quick 3, or do you go back to Blanchfield, who just dropped one?
They've got so many shooters out there. They really could go any direction. All I know is I'm putting David Anderson in the pick and pop situation.
Again, we're inside the last 2 minutes, so we can't play you what Dean Demopoulos is saying because we have seen allegations of sneaky teams watching the broadcast and letting the opposition know exactly what the play that's been drawn up will be.
I'll tell you what, they'd have to be quick if that's possible. They'd have to be working at a high level.
Well, they're at the venue.
That's true.
Doesn't take much. Okay, here we go. 18 seconds left. 7 points. You can do the math. Anderson. Jackson. Moore steps
Gotta get it up.
Needs the 3. Doesn't get it. Rebound will do. And he gets the foul.
And look, that's been the story for United so far today, hasn't it? They've got pretty good looks, I reckon. Double teams in the post have opened them up all day. Haven't been able to knock it down, though.
So it'll be a 0-2 start for Melbourne United, one of the pre-season favourites for the championship this year. A team that last year won their first 9 games and yet didn't make the grand final.
And look, they've got a big home stretch coming up, as they did last year. They're really going to have to click into gear pretty quickly, take care of business here at home, because it's not easy to win in the NBL on the road.
And I think we have seen today reconfirmed for everybody the evenness of the competition. It's anybody's championship this year. Blanchard rips it down, but only a couple of seconds to eat up. Put the whistle away, the refs. More. 1 second left on the clock. But they've got their respect back, the Adelaide 36ers. They were blown away in their first game by 34, but they're back in the comp, and Joey Wright's got to be a happy man after this huge victory on the road against Melbourne United, 87-79.
Just a massive win by this young 36ers unit. Jerome Randall, of course, our Ladbrokes player of the game, finishing with 30 points. Fouled out down the stretch, but boy, did he come up with some big plays to close this thing out for the 36ers.
And you can see the disappointment on their faces. But right now, this is not about Melbourne United's 0-2 start. It's about the Adelaide 36ers. They needed it big time, and they came up with it big time. And Mitch Creek, their captain, when it was required, with their superstar Jerome Randall off, he was the man who delivered. Adelaide 36ers 87, Melbourne United 79. Don't go away. We're back to wrap up next.
Folks, a big creativity here in Hostel for an not the result we would have wanted, but a long season coming up. But we haven't seen this guy playing for Melbourne in the NBL game since he represented Australia at the Olympics. How about giving it up for Chris Golden, folks? Tough result, Chris, but good to be back on the ball for Melbourne in this season. Bunch of new faces, some exciting goals to come. Yeah, good to be back here. Thank you everyone for coming out. Sorry we couldn't put on a better show.
A stunned crowd here at Hisense Arena. It was a full house for the first home game of the year for Melbourne United. And there are a very, very disappointed lot here. But if you're watching this back in Adelaide, look at this score. Plenty to rejoice about. 87-79, the final number.
Mate, I cannot be more impressed with this young Adelaide 36ers lineup. To bounce back like they have here today from that game, you know, the performance they put in Illawarra is just an exceptional effort from such a young squad.
They led by 4 at quarter time, the 36ers, by 9 at half time, by 15 at three-quarter time. And they did face a little bit of pressure late when Jerome Randall had to have a sit down and they had to rely on some of their other stars. Jerome Randall was probably the biggest star of the night. He was the player of the night, but they didn't have him for the last 2 minutes.
No, he truly did lead the way, though. He put him in a position to win, and then Captain Mitch Creek closed the door with that lovely spin move down the stretch. Here it is right there. Such a tough move late in the game, just to close things out for the 36ers.
Don't forget, it starts again. Round one was superb. Plenty of upsets around the competition, and the standard has been sensational so far. And don't forget, it starts again next round. And Illawarra, I think, hosting the first game of next round. So we're looking forward to that next week, Tommy. And Melbourne United have got another home game coming up. So they'll be really keen to make sure they get a first win for 2016, 2017 back here. But it's the Adelaide 36ers afternoon as we say goodbye. The 36ers, 87-79, away from home. They've got their respect back.